Greetings, friends. You are on the Military Reporter channel, and today we are going to discuss the situation in Ukraine. A huge number of events have taken place today, so let's get started. Let's begin with the Sudzha salient, where the armed forces of the Russian Federation continue their counteroffensive operation. Over the past 24 hours, Russian units have significantly expanded the zone of control along the entire perimeter of the Sudzha salient. This is the map we can already see today, as of the evening of March 10. As you can see, part of the territory is already under the control of Russian forces. The progress is substantial. Just 3 days ago, on March 8, most of the territory was under the full control of the armed forces of Ukraine. However, after the start of that legendary operation to land airborne troops behind Ukrainian positions, the map began to change rapidly. To be precise, the Ukrainian front collapsed, and Russian forces switched to an active offensive. The direct organizers of this operation, as well as its participants, shared some interesting details today. According to one of the organizers, 2 battalions of the armed forces of the Russian Federation, around 800 soldiers, took part in the combat operations during this landing. According to these same reports, the Russian soldiers sat inside pipes with a diameter of just under 1.5 meters for 4 days, waiting for the order to begin the operation. When the order was given, these 800 soldiers began advancing toward the industrial zone located in the northeastern part of the Sudzha agglomeration. After Russian units managed to secure positions along the perimeter of the Sudzha salient, the Ukrainian front essentially collapsed. Ukrainian forces practically stopped putting up resistance, and all subsequent actions by Ukrainian troops were reduced to the following scenarios: retreat, regrouping, attempts to break through, retreat again. The retreat was either toward the settlement of Sudzha itself or toward the state border. These 800 soldiers could be called many things. Sudzha horse comes to mind, but in this case, it's more like the Sudzha gas. The operation closely resembles the story of the Trojan horse, except in this case, the horse was a gas pipeline. Let me remind you that it was the Ukrainian side that, several months ago, advocated for the termination of Russian gas transit through the territory of the Sudzha district and further through the Sumy region. The Ukrainian side shut down the flow of Russian gas to the European market. The Russian military command took advantage of this situation. First, they drained the remaining gas, filled the pipes with oxygen, and then sent their Sudzha horse into the rear of the Ukrainian positions. After that, the front line collapsed. Let's start with the western, northwestern, and northern directions. According to official data from the Telegram channel of the Sever military group and the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation, over the past 24 hours, the Russian army has regained control over the following settlements. Lakhnya, a small hamlet located north of Lebedevka and south of Nikolskoye. Malaya Lakhnya, a settlement from which 2 geolocations from this front line have been published. In the footage released by the Russian side, a Russian soldier can be seen climbing to the highest point in the settlement and raising the Russian tricolor. This flag was raised as a sign of the final establishment of control over the territory. There is still no confirmed footage of Lakhnya from objective surveillance, only reports from the Ministry of Defense and the Sever military group. However, in Malaya Lakhnya, the flag has already been raised, which serves as official proof of the operation's success. The operation in the Sudzha salient is ongoing, and Russian forces continue to build on their success. More details and updates will follow in the next reports. Stay with us. At this exact point in the settlement, a few hours later, another video was published, this time from the southeastern part of the settlement, near the territory of a former women's colony. Here, 6 Russian soldiers also raised their flags and the banners of the units that were directly involved in the combat operations in this direction. Based on this footage, as well as reports from the Ministry of Defense and the Sever military group, these territories were marked on the maps as under Russian control. Both neutral and pro-Russian sources have published their own updates on the front line. According to this information, all these fields, areas along the railway, forested areas, and natural landmarks have also come under the control of the Russian Federation, although, so far, without any objective control footage to confirm this information. Moving on to the northeastern direction, where the map, as you can see, has undergone the most significant changes. When it comes to this section of the front, all the adjustments on the map are mainly based on data from reports by the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation, as well as updates from the Sever military group. According to this data, the settlement of Kosytsa has come under the control of the Russian army, along with the settlements of Pravda, Cherkasskaya Porich, Ivashkovsky, and Kubet. Regarding Ivashkovsky, there is a short video showing the movement of a Russian soldier. The author of the video claims that this is the clearing of the settlement by Russian forces. Based on this footage, the map was updated. A little later, additional objective control footage appeared, showing how the first Ukrainian soldiers began surrendering at sunrise on March 10, when it became clear that they were surrounded and had no chance of a successful breakthrough. There was also news about the clearing of the settlement of Kubet. So far, there is no information from the village of Yasnaya. It has either already been wiped out or will also come under the control of Russian forces by the evening of March 10. It appears that the evacuation of the remaining Ukrainian formations in this area was organized through a checkpoint in this region, first toward the settlement of Kazakya and then toward Zalyshenka. Most likely, the evacuation and the attempted breakout of Ukrainian formations from this section of the front will be completed during the night of March 10 to 11. Anyone who fails to escape from this encirclement on the night of March 10 to 11 will no longer be able to get out. They will have only two options, either surrender or remain on this land forever. Next, we move to the eastern flank, toward the settlement of Martinovka. Russian sources have released objective control footage showing a Russian soldier waving a flag in the central part of the settlement. Based on this footage, the map was updated for the entire territory of Martinovka. Shortly afterward, information came in from the Sever military group as well as from other sources that not only Martinovka but also the settlement of Mykolovka, which is practically a suburb connected to Martinovka, had come under Russian control. Finally, we turn to the eastern direction, which has probably produced the largest number of reports over the past 24 hours. However, as you can see, most of these reports have not yet been confirmed by objective control footage or official reports from the Ministry of Defense or the Sever military group. The only confirmed footage is a reconnaissance video showing the retreat of Ukrainian units. In this footage, you can see several forest strips in the area of the settlement of Mirny, completely filled with Ukrainian soldiers. Notice the dozens of points along the tree line. These are Ukrainian soldiers who are frozen, waiting for an order. They are waiting for one word: move, retreat, or advance. This footage was released simultaneously with reports that Russian units had managed to expand the zone of control in this section of the front. According to unconfirmed reports, by the evening of March 10, such settlements as Bondarka, Kalmykov, Mirny, as well as the entire eastern part of the Sudzha agglomeration and Makhnovka, have come under the full and stable control of the armed forces of the Russian Federation. Of course, we are waiting for some kind of geolocation confirmation, but most likely, the Ministry of Defense or the Sever military group will confirm this information tomorrow, or even this evening. Now we move on to the settlement of Sudzha itself. The settlement is under heavy fire. At the moment, the situation there is as follows. In a completely disorganized, chaotic, and somewhat panicked manner, Ukrainian soldiers from all directions and from all corners of the Sudzha salient are rapidly moving toward Sudzha. This has resulted in an excessive concentration of personnel per square meter in the town of Sudzha and the Sudzha agglomeration. Of course, this makes the settlement of Sudzha a convenient target for strikes using first-person view, FPV, drones, since practically every building is now overcrowded with wounded soldiers and evacuation groups who, just a few hours ago, were in Martinovka or Kazakya. Now, everyone is gathering in Sudzha and, after possibly receiving certain orders, will begin to move further toward the state border. The first footage is already being published from the state border, showing how individual Ukrainian units are crossing the border on foot and entering the territory of Sumy Oblast. It is too early to say whether the Ukrainian command has made a final decision to abandon Sudzha and the Sudzhanskaya agglomeration, but the first reports and objective control footage suggest that the Ukrainian side will most likely not offer fierce resistance in Sudzha or try to hold this settlement as a key stronghold. However, the problem is that even if the Ukrainian side has decided to withdraw its units from the settlement, that does not mean they will be able to do so with minimal losses. In any case, the Russian side will continue to launch counterattacks. Moreover, not only counterattacks should be expected, but also attempts to encircle the remaining units of the 80th, 81st, 82nd, 92nd, 47th, and 36th brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, which have been stationed in this agglomeration for the past 6 months, engaged in unknown activities. Naturally, for the Russian command, the number one goal right now is to capture as many Ukrainian servicemen as possible in order to reconstruct the full picture of what has been happening in this area. The Ukrainian side is generally expecting a large influx of Ukrainian soldiers from the Sudzha area, who, apparently, will continue to retreat along disorganized routes and paths. At the moment, the Ukrainian command is focused on restoring infrastructure in the territory of Sumy Oblast. For example, footage shows how Ukrainian engineering forces are attempting to restore pontoon crossings in Sumy Oblast to facilitate the retreat of Ukrainian formations from the Sudzhanskaya area. However, Russian drones are also operating in this region, controlling virtually every square kilometer of terrain. If a new group of engineering vehicles appears, they are immediately and promptly destroyed. That is the situation as of March 10, 2025. The Russian army continues its offensive. However, in addition to complex offensive operations, there are also tasks related to clearing the area, demoning, and, of course, processing prisoners of war who are already surrendering to Russian units by the dozens. This could, of course, somewhat slow down the overall advance in the coming days, but only if the Russian command has not prepared a second wave of the offensive. According to all logic and the general rules of warfare, the second wave of the offensive in the Sudzhanskaya salient should begin very soon, because the first wave, after 4 days of exhausting battles and constant marches, seems to be somewhat depleted. It is time to deploy reserves, which should push further into the territory of Sumy Oblast. That's all for now, dear friends. Thank you for watching, subscribe to the channel, and may God bless you.